Hey guys, it's Fred. We just done this story, this part one and part two, last couple of days on Mike Elam and Ricky Plunk, dealing with the firearm, dealing with the M1 rifle that O'Neill Moffett had stolen, one of them that he had stolen from the Air Force. And I was talking about how Mike Elam was talking about these guns and all these accusations, all these things that O'Neill Moffett had supposedly told him that Buford had he had sold Buford one of those guns, and Buford had several of them that he was trying to sell, and all these different things that he said. And I said, where's the tape at? Where's the signed statement? Where's anything from O'Neill Moffett saying that? Because that's definitely some big news if that's true. Mike Elam's never had nothing like that. He don't have a signed statement. He don't have a tape of O'Neill Moffett telling him that. In fact, I want to read you something. Look at the date, if you can see it here. December the 17th, 2016. This is from Buford Pusser, the other story. This is Mike Elam's Facebook page. Some sad news to pass along. We lost another part of the story yesterday morning with the passing of O'Neill Moffett. O'Neill was the son of McNairy County Chief Deputy Jim Moffett. It was O'Neill who informed me during an interview that after Sheriff Pusser shot and killed Louise Hathcock in a questionable shooting at the Shamrock, his father, Jim Moffett, told his wife and son, O'Neill, if anything happens to me, you need to go no further than Buford. O'Neill had a lot to contribute to the real story. My thoughts and prayers go out to the O'Neill's wife, goes to the O'Neill's wife, Brenda, sister Patsy, and the rest of the family. That's from Mike Elam, guys. Now, my challenge here, my question is, prior to December the 16th, he says that O'Neill passed away the day before. It's on the other story. Sheila posted it, but I don't have the date in front of me. But prior to this, prior to December the 17th, 2016, is there anybody out there, including Mr. Elam, that has a story that Mr. Elam has posted where he said that Jim Moffett, the chief deputy, had said that if anything ever happens to him, that look no further than Buford? Is there anything out there prior to this date? Because, see, here we have O'Neill Moffett just died. O'Neill Moffett just died. And now, all of a sudden, the next day, here comes up this story on Mike Elam's page. Yeah, I interviewed O'Neill, and he's the one that told me that Jim Moffett, his father, said if anything happens to me, look no further than Buford, because he thought something was wrong with the Louise Hathcock shooting, even though Jim Moffett was there with Buford, even though P.D. Plunk was there with them. All three of them were there. Now O'Neill Moffett has passed away, and we just wrote, in my opinion, now guys, I could be wrong on anything. I tell that in almost every video. I could be wrong, but I bet you about anything that this is the first time that you're ever going to see that statement. Jim Moffett told his wife and son, O'Neill, if anything ever happens to me, look no further than Buford. This is 2016. This is the day after O'Neill Moffett died. I don't think you'll find that statement anywhere in history prior to this date where Mike Elam states that O'Neill Moffett told him that. See, because O'Neill Moffett has been alive all this time. He's been alive. There's no way Mike Elam could have come out and made a statement like that if while he was alive, if it wasn't true, because O'Neill would have called him out on it. He would have known. Now, if it's out there prior to this, then I'd say you can take it to the bank. I don't think you're going to find that statement, guys. I think this was the first day. This was when it was written into history for the first time ever. And after that, after 2016, after O'Neill Moffett died, it became a regular conversation piece for Elam. He could throw it out there whenever he wanted to. Now, see, he hasn't had time to think about the gun. And I'd like to thank Matt Smith for bringing this to our attention and going back and looking through Mr. Elam's Facebook post all the way back to 2016 when he found this. But you know, in that story we've covered the last 2 days on the gun, he talks about O'Neill telling him about the guns. They were going to destroy the guns, and I thought I'd take a few. They were going to do this. Buford loaded me up in the car and took off, driving like a bat out of the bad place. Buford done this, Buford done that. All of a sudden, it's about this gun. Mike Elam has been talking about this, one of these stolen guns from O'Neill Moffett that Buford supposedly had. Why isn't that in here? Why isn't that in here? O'Neill also told me about the gun that Buford, he sold Buford or gave Buford. He told me about this. See, O'Neill's just died. He hasn't had time to think about it yet. He hasn't had time to get that story together, if I'm correct in my thinking. If there's a story prior to 2016 where Mike Elam says that O'Neill Moffett, and if he's going to say it now, if he's going to say it in 2022 after O'Neill Moffett is dead, then surely he shouldn't have had no problem saying it on December the 15th, because this is December the 17th I'm looking at, 2016. I don't have that in front of me, but whenever O'Neill Moffett died, is there anything out there prior to him dying where Mike Elam has got a story written where O'Neill Moffett told him about giving or selling Buford Pusser one or all of those M1s that he stole from the Air Force? If there is, I'd like to see it. That would be great. That would be great, and we'll move on to something else. I don't think we're going to see a story like that dealing with the guns from O'Neill Moffett no more than we are where Jim Moffett told O'Neill, if anything happens to me, look no farther than Buford. That's what you call spoken into history, guys, or written into history. If you'll notice, some sad news, we lost another part of the story yesterday. Yesterday morning. It's already yesterday morning. He's been dead for 1 day. And Mike Elam, in the bottom paragraph, Jim Moffett, O'Neill had told him that Jim Moffett said, if anything happens to me, look no further than Buford. Look up there about halfway. It was O'Neill who informed me during an interview that after Sheriff Pusser shot and killed Louise Hathcock in a questionable shooting at the Shamrock. Why would he say questionable? His dad was there. Jim Moffett was there with him. He would have been involved if it was questionable. P.D. Plunk would have been involved. Written in history, guys. Another good example. Thank you, Matt. Catch you next time.